given time will add pieces or an asset or an artifact to the portfolio, but they're clearly not reflecting on the growth of what they have retained information from a content subject area or why they're adding that asset into that e-portfolio. So when we look at it, we really need to look and ask the question, what is that purpose of that e-portfolio, but also how are we assessing those student learning outcomes and what to look for. As part of this as well, when we look at the bigger picture, we work with educators when we first introduce e-portfolios. Instead of teachers launching that initiative, they need to know what it looks like, what it feels like for them as a professional as well. So working with educators, they create an e-portfolio to showcase their educational journey. Because more times when they're involved in that learning process and working with the right tools to help them do the job, they'll be more comfortable to introduce those to the students in the classroom. So as part of this, we start with the end in mind of focusing on the ISTE nets for teachers, looking at what does it look like for a teacher to be technology literate. We also look at other tools. Let's just switch, continue on. Our ISTElearning.org site as well too, which is wonderful. They also have a curriculum planning toolkit now that is aligned with student learning outcomes as well. That will be launched this year in June at the National Conference. So besides the ISTE nets for students, there are curriculum planning tools to really look at skills and examples for students to add those collection or artifacts back into that e-portfolio. As part of this, when we look at it, we look at the big picture too, the 21st century skills. What is it that teachers want to create in an e-portfolio as well as the students to document that big picture? How do I know that they're incorporating global literacy? How do I know that they're incorporating perhaps the health or civic literacy aspect to help that student be a more well-rounded individual, that they have a full slate of experiences to take into their next skill set if they go on to college or if they choose to go into a university setting as well or into the general workforce. But looking at those 21st century skills, again, if you've seen this rainbow picture before, it's not that we're throwing out what we're already teaching for our core subjects. We're integrating the 21st century themes as well to be that support initiative. It needs to have a meaningful connection for students and teachers, as well as supporting the life and career, the innovation skills, and the information and media and tech literacy. Our strands that we have below as well, what does that standards piece look like and what is that authentic assessment? So that we'll begin to continue to look at that bigger piece of how it comes together. What we've done, my other hat that I wear, I work so many days out of my month for Intel Education as a national senior trainer. I travel all over the globe to work with educators and administrators of really looking at the best practices of what does critical and authentic assessment look like when it's associated with e-portfolios. Or if our students are creating like what Scott has, they're working with a WordPress and it's that blog. How do I know that the reflection is meaningful and it's purposeful and it's showing growth between the student content connection to what they've actually learned and to apply to a new skill set? So as part of this, Scott, I'm going to have you launch the link at the bottom, which takes you to some coursework. But the coursework here, just to give you an overview, and this is not a sales pitch at all, these are free courses that anyone can tap into. They're based off of a CD, so when I go back to South Africa in July, when we work with districts that have limited bandwidth, they can run that off the CD. It's just amazing. And some of our districts that I work with in Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin right now in our rural areas have very limited bandwidth, or the infrastructure is very poor, that it's tapping out their system. So you can get the coursework based off of the CD, but also you can also activate the course from online right from the web. And it's an Adobe Flash-based course. But the beauty of the course is, I'm going to tap right into this for you just to showcase a little bit of this. So Scott, if you could click on Assessments in the 21st Century Classroom. We actually have 4 courses developed. We have Project-Based Approaches, Assessments in the 21st Century Classroom, Collaboration in the Digital Classroom, and the 4th one released this summer at ISTE will be 21st Century Administrative Leadership. Why I truly love these courses, and it may have launched at the top as a tab that you can connect.
Yeah, click it.
Oh,